Rangers week is still going strong on the channel, friends, because today I'm super excited to take a look at the wedding anniversary 2-pack of Lord Zedd and Rita Repulsa from the Lightning Collection! Yeah.
Come everyone, time to dance!
It's hard to believe, friends, but Lord Zedd and Rita Repulsa got married 25 years ago this year because they had their wedding in an episode of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers from 1995 called The Wedding, not surprisingly. Unfortunately, these two are GameStop exclusives, and if you already bought a Lord Zedd, you gotta buy another one if you want Rita Repulsa, which is everyone, unfortunately. But I mean, thankfully this Lord Zedd does have like a single improvement from the original. His claws are painted! Oh, the original right here, and like, yeah. You see how his claws were like not silver, which they should be because they're like a little extra bits of armor on the tips of his fingers. Also, the visor looks like a slightly different color, but I mean, other than that, he is pretty darn identical to the point of having like the wash on the front and not so much on the back. Like, look how the shoulder, which does have the wash, like contrasts with that red there, and it's like the same thing with the other Lord Zedd, the original one on the right over here. It's pretty disappointing, but I mean, they improved like the biggest gripe people had with the first one. I wish there was like more of a wash on the back, but otherwise, still an amazing sculpt. Look at all the muscles and stuff, and yeah, great paint wash on the front. I wish the silver could have been a little more, you know, silvery, but that's not a big deal. His articulation's identical from the first one too, obviously, but Rita Repulsa is the star of the show here, because we have never, ever, ever gotten a Rita Repulsa figure before, except in 2010 when we got a really horrible, like, 4-inch sized one. Funny enough, Bandai was going to make a Rita Repulsa figure back in the original Mighty Morphin days, but I mean, it never really got cleared, and the rumor is safety reasons were the problem because they were worried kids would, like, poke themselves on something, but I guess that's not a concern for Hasbro. Now, even though in the wedding, Carla Perez took on the role of Rita Repulsa, this face sculpt right here is definitely Soja Machiko from, you know, the Sentai who played Bandora, who's Rita's counterpart, and good on them for getting her, you know, I have such a headache, I hate you Power Rangers face. Like, that is one nasty face sculpt in there, and it looks amazing. They even got her weird hair thing sculpted. They get a little, you know, softer at the, more flexible at the top, but it's pretty solid down here, and even all the way up to here is really solid. This collar thing's super flexible rubber, though, but the pointy cone bra thing is definitely hard. It is kind of like, if you put your thumb on there, it's gonna hurt like a little bit, and it's not like cutting yourself though. I mean, and then she got a soft goods fabric dress, which we can like lift up and see what's going on under there, because, you know, below the waist at least, everything's just like black, and she does appear to have like a standard body with like a reverse ab crunch and diaphragm joint in there. And it's hard to see like what's up these sleeves. They're like flesh colored, but like, one thing about this figure, moving the arms is kind of difficult. You can't really see what you're doing to the joint, you know? Well, if you've got a stuck joint, so help you, you kind of got to roll up the sleeve or the dress and see what's going on. But I mean, we can see only her forearm has the flesh tone color, and then the rest gets the black, like the legs and the rest of the body. Kind of weird, but I mean, we never saw under Rita Repulsa's dress, so who knows? It could be accurate. I mean, obviously, they just did it black because they didn't know either. There's nothing that's supposed to be under there. I don't know how accurate the boots are, though. Like, we rarely really get a look at those, but, like, I mean, I would assume the buckles would not be black. I assume they'd be, like, metal, so maybe there should be some paint on the shoes or something, but, I mean, the real thing that's truly inaccurate, I can't get this stupid sleeve back down. There we go. This pattern here, that shouldn't be silver, that should be gold colored. I don't know how they make that mistake, but I mean, the pattern itself is at least accurate, so that's good. And then everything else accurate up above the waist here. All that gold detail. Oh man, they got it. And even the little thing on her headband, the little gem up there. And then these hair wrap things. I was wondering, is this gray stuff supposed to be like Rita's actual hair? I don't know, but that's how it looked on the show. They got all of that accurate. I don't know about the boots, but this should not be silver. But I mean, overall, pretty good on the aesthetics. If we start talking about the articulation, she has a ball hinge head. That is some good range looking up right there. She can't look down totally, but she's got side to side and can go all the way around, of course. And it's hinge and swivel shoulders. They can go up probably a little more than that, but like, you don't want to pull the pits of the dress too much. And then I think they don't have a cut. It's hard to tell, really. They don't have a cut up at the shoulder, but they do have butterfly joints that can go forward and back some, and then they have hinge and swivel elbows. You can't really swivel them all around because the dress would, like, get in the way. You can roll up the sleeves like I did earlier, and then she's got hinge and are they hinges? It's so hard to see because there's these giant gold things in the way, which are accurate to the show also, but I think they're supposed to tie down the ends of the dress to her wrists, so you couldn't see, like, past the wrist, obviously. But I mean, like, she does have hinges. They just don't really hinge much because this giant bracelet's in the way, but they can swivel no problem. And then up in there, you can't really see, but I mean, you can if you just, like, push all this stuff up. She does have a diaphragm joint, gives her good side to side, forward and back in combination with the reverse ab. It can also swivel. The waist does not swivel. It swivels up at the diaphragm right underneath the bra. And then she's got the hinged hips. Now, I guess they could go further, but obviously the dress is kind of in the way, so, like, they can go pretty far forward, and she could do the splits pretty much like any standard female ranger figure in the line. And she has double knees, which you have to do both if you don't want to rip the dress. I'm kind of torn on the dress. Like, maybe it should have been rubber with a slit, because, like, you can't really do too much with a rubber dress unless you, like, cut a big line in it. So if you don't want the line, like, this is how the way to go. Like, this is, you make it cloth so it can be more flexible, because, like, she can get her feet pretty far apart the way this material can move, obviously. And then she's got swivels at the boots. This one's just stuck though. There we go. Swivels at the boots and hinge and pivot Marvel Legends style ankles. I wonder if Rita did wear boots under her dress like this, because it's not just like high heels, it's high heels and boots, and it's like a really big sculpted thingy there. But I mean, hey, the articulation is all there except for a swivel at the shoulder. I think, I can't 100% confirm that, but I don't feel it, and I can't get that motion. That's butterfly joint motion instead. I'll quickly go over Zed for those of you who didn't see the other review or get the first Lord Zed. Same exact articulation, got a ball hinge head, side to side, hinge and swivel shoulders and butterfly joints, cuts at the shoulders, double elbows, hinge and swivel wrists, diaphragm joint and reverse ab crunch. Then he's got the hinged hips, cuts in the thighs as well, double knees and hinge and pivot ankles. He does not have a boot cut. Oh my gosh. Well, it just pops back in, so that's good. Excellent articulation and excellent articulation. These two are a match made in not heaven. The packaging for these two is essentially the Lightning Collection packaging we've seen before, just stretched out for a double-sized 2-pack. We still get character portraits on the front there and on the side there. Only it's just Rita, and it says Mighty Morphin up here. It doesn't say Mighty Morphin on the left, though, but it's just Zed, because I guess there's 2 characters, 2 sides, makes perfect sense. It does say Mighty Morphin up on the top, which it usually does not, which I guess is because we got lots of extra space now and look kind of bare and naked without that. Really interesting bit over here. It says 25th anniversary, and ain't the 25th anniversary of Power Rangers anymore, so what is that about? It's the 25th wedding anniversary of Zed and Rita, because they got married in 1995, which, it's cute. Not too much interesting on the bottom of the pack. On the back, we get a photo of the figures crossing their staffs like they do when they get married, and this really funny write-up. I don't usually read write-ups. It says, the horror of your presence is absolutely required at the marriage of bunch of French and Spanish name. Oh, Rita Repulsa and Lord Zed. When they do that different language thing, and then, like, they're like, oh, this applies to every language, just put it there. It's kind of weird. They should just probably, like, break it up into different paragraphs or something. I don't know, but it's funny because they're evil, and it's not the honor of your presence, it's the horror, and it's not requested, it's required, because they're not going to ask nicely. They're bad guys. Anyways, let's open this packaging up. Where is the tape? Oh, on the sides. I can't open it up at the top for once. Gotta open the sides. And careful not to damage Rita, because that is some cool art. And this is our first ever Rita figure, and I gotta open her up. Huh. Well, I wish that stuck in, but I mean, whatever. Card art in the package has the same lightning bolt. It's a little wider, because it's a wider box, and it's gray and red for some reason. I get red for Lord Zed, but why not do like a brownish color or black for... Oh, maybe that's it. That is black for, Rita. Okay, I guess I could see that. Anyways, the figures are just held in with friction. It's a little noisy, but just start with the legs and yank them out. No twist ties. Very collector friendly, although it does take up a bit of space because it's a 2-pack, so I might not be keeping the packaging, but it's still pretty good packaging. For accessories, Zed comes with his power staff, of course. It's got a big little cylinder part in the middle there for him to grab onto it more easily, I guess. Then he also gets a couple of alternate hands, which also have the claw tips painted, unlike that first release. The left one is a fist, and the right one's really the tight grip for holding his staff, actually. Pop in and out easily enough. Just be careful with the little tubes that are close to his wrist there. And let's pop this guy back on. There, that's such a better fit than the first hand I was trying to get him into. Then he comes with a growth bomb, which is painted red on the inside sculpted lines there, unlike the original Lord Zedd release on the right over here, which was just totally silver. It actually fits super well into the claw hands he came packaged with, which are, big open grips like that. Of course, being a lightning collection, he gets a lightning effect. It's purple this time around instead of red like the original release. I think that kind of works better because, Zedd's already red, and of course it makes sense. You have, red energy, but whoa, are you like a pole dancer now, Zedd? I mean, it makes sense he'd have red energy, but, I think this is, a cooler looking color combination. They probably made it purple because it could also work for Rita's staff, which we'll look at in a moment. Last up, and most strange, Lord Zedd comes with these green crystal things that he used to drain Tommy's powers. And what's weird about him is, that wasn't in the wedding episode. Everything else is, from the wedding, but obviously those are from, a few episodes before, so that's weird. Moving on to Rita's accessories, she, of course, comes with her staff. I don't know if it had a name, but I mean, the sculpt on it's great, but there are a lot of gold and blue details. This thingy is supposed to be blue, and then all this little intricate lines in here. And then inside the little crescent moon part are all supposed to be gold. So, I mean, at least it was painted on both sides, which is something, Bandai would not have given us. Let's see how we get it in her hand here. Oh, that was pretty easy. Nice. Finally got a Rita Repulsa that can hold her staff, I think. Did it pop out? Oh, there it is. There it is. I just got to bend her arm. It's hard to see where to bend her arm exactly since she's got the dress on. There we go. I think I got it. Then she gets some alternate hands, just like Zedd. She's got a left fist, a left grip, a right grip, and a right claw hand. When Zedd gets 2 claws and Rita gets 2 grips. So it's a little different, but everyone has a fist on the left. They're they're a perfect pair, these two. Then, of course, the love potion that she, duped Lord Zedd with. It's actually super accurate to the show. This is how it was. Just blue and gold. They're not missing any paint details there. Then the bouquet from the wedding, and unlike the love potion and the other stuff, this is actually really inaccurate because Rita's flowers were all decayed and dead, and the flowers that were there were really small and pathetic because it's an evil wedding. That was the whole gag, kind of. But I mean, I guess we can shove the stems in there and get her to hold it, and these do look nicer. But I mean, I think the whole point of the wedding was it didn't look nice. These are not nice people, right? Finally packaged right in the middle of these two was their wedding cake, which they have to share. And I guess this was made by Finster out of clay or something. Or maybe it was just part of the gag that it looks disgusting because it does not look like food or any kind of cake I've seen. But it did have a spider on it. And fun fact, the figures of Zedd and Rita, which aren't painted here or anything, but this is mostly how the cake looked, mostly gray and blobbish and gross. The figures of Zedd and Rita that were on top of that cake in the show were actually prototypes of the Rita Repulsa figure that Bandai never ever made back in the day, but Hasbro has already given us. And also a Zedd prototype that never got released, but we did get other toys of Lord Zedd back in the day. So things have definitely come full circle. And while we got them both out, let's take that purple lightning and see if we can't wrap it around Rita's staff, because I think purple's a good color for her to use. And yep, can go good on either one. I mean, it's kind of lame that we only get one lightning effect when it's there's 2 staffs and 2 characters. Usually every character in the Lightning Collection comes with lightning, so it's kind of bad you gypped us, but I mean, if you bought the first Lord Zedd, I guess you have the red one from that, so that works. Pretty good accessories, Hasbro. I wish we would have gotten one more lightning effect instead of this thing, which isn't even from the wedding episode, as I recall. Scale time. So if we measure to the top of Zedd's brains, he's about 6.5 inches or 17 centimeters tall, but if we go to the top of that Z thing that's on his head, he's 7 inches, 18 centimeters, and Rita's got something similar going on. She's 7 inches tall or 18 centimeters to the top of her hair pointy things there, but if you go to where her real head would end, she's 6 inches tall, 15.5, 16 centimeters, something like that. So she does look like she's sorted in Lord Zedd, even though they're technically the same height if you go to the highest possible measurement point. As always, here they are with some other 6-inch figures, my Marvel Legends Spider-Man and DCUC Batman. And here they are next to a Ranger figure who also happens to be a fellow villain, and you can see that Rita is actually going to be a bit shorter than most Rangers if you're looking at her face. Her face is lower, but the hair things technically make her taller, and thankfully Zedd's a little bit taller than most of the standard Ranger figures. So do I ultimately recommend these two? Well, not for them to be a couple. They're a horrible pair for each other. Well, they actually turn good and it's all okay, so, whatever. But if you need a Rita Repulsa figure, heck yes, this is a great one. Is it kind of crummy that Hasbro is making us buy a 2-pack to get Rita? Heck yes, it is, of course. If you don't have Lord Zedd, obviously go get these. There's no reason not to. But if you already have Lord Zedd, maybe wait, because maybe Hasbro's going to do like a single pack Rita, but I mean, I'm not going to risk it. I want that Rita Repulsa, and I want it right now, and she is definitely worth it. So go out and get her, friends, and until next time, peace out, YouTube.